Hey guys, this is Homework with Miss Ray. I am just really excited about how well this week is going. And so, this is our final homework assignment for the week. You guys are going to be taking some notes, and here we go. So, you guys started reading Nothing to Envy today, and you kind of got a glimpse of what it looks like to live in a country that controls everything that its citizens do. But what would it be like if you lived in a country that was under control? We got to take a glimpse of it, but we're going to look at some other countries a little deeper to see what that's like. How do you control certain aspects of a country to make sure that everything goes the way you want it to go? Right now in America, we have autonomy. We have freedom to speak what we want, carry arms. We can post whatever we want on social media. This is just a few of the things that I was able to see on social media. I love the Shade Room. It keeps me informed. I don't really like to watch the news because it's just really disheartening. So this is pretty much how I get the news. So there's Black Facebook employees write open letter accusing the company of having a racist culture. The FBI reportedly warns your smart TV could be spying on you. Teen accused of posting pic of black classmate on Craigslist as slave for sale. Ad faces hate crime charges. Florida man arrested after abandoning his son on the highway because he suspected he was gay. Say what? Trump had kids build the wall at White House Halloween party? Kim Kardashian appearing darker in latest photo shoot is reporting due to lighting. All of these different things could be controlled, and we could possibly not even know it exists if we live in a country that controls media and really determines what we do and do not say, what we do and do not report, and what actually gets out into the world to find out about our country. If we don't know what's happening or what's going on in the world, how can we even really solve it? So, let's take a look at 5 different countries. You guys are going to be creating a chart. You've done it before. We're going to do it one more time. So, how can controlling citizens have negative effects on a country? This is something that you're going to be thinking about. We're going to travel across the world. We're going to go to Singapore. We're going to go to Equatorial Guinea. We're going to look at North Korea a little bit, Belarus, and Uzbekistan. And then you guys are going to close with your thoughts. Controlling what citizens can and cannot say makes me feel how? Because of what? For example, give me a country. Which country stood out to you the most? What do they do? And this is what? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it horrifying? Is it weird? Because of what? Really process your thoughts. Okay. I have numbered how many notes you should have, but for those of you who always go above and beyond, if something else sticks out to you, go ahead and add it. What could it hurt? Again, every note that you're taking this week is going to be used in your project. So the more you go hard on it, the better it's going to be for you in the long run. All right, first stop, Singapore. Singapore, which is located in a small island off of Malaysia. Singapore may be small, but the government's firm implementation of their rules and policies on locals and tourists alike are not just higher compared to other countries in this list. Any wrong move will cost someone a fine. Spitting in public has a fine. Smoking in public will get you in serious trouble. Wearing the wrong dress when going out will land you in jail. And those are just petty violations. One can only imagine how stringent or how serious the Singaporean government is when dealing with serious crimes. But this very solid adherence to the rules makes Singapore a world class economy with standards of living rated higher than most advanced European nations. So even though this country is very strict, it's rated the highest in the world class economy. Economy means money, guys. So whatever they're doing something right because they're not struggling from poverty. And they're living in a higher and more advanced way than other nations are. So they're doing something right. Think about the diseases. If I'm getting secondhand smoke, isn't that going to affect my lungs? Maybe they're doing these rules for a reason. Let's keep going. Next stop is Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea is located in Central Africa. Okay? So, in Equatorial Guinea, people are discouraged from learning how to read and write. There are no bookstores or newsstands in the country. Tourism is also low as foreigners are normally not allowed to enter the country. The government, which is ran by President Teodoro, I'm not going to mess his name up, so I'm going to just leave him alone. President Teodoro, since a coup is a violent overthrowing. A coup installed him in 1973, controls the TV and radio stations. Foreigners who are allowed to enter Equatorial Guinea are closely monitored and prohibited from filming scenes and conditions that portray poverty. So anything that's going on in Equatorial Guinea, they don't want getting out, and there's really no freedom of speech there since the president controls TV and radio stations. So as long as he likes it, it's fine. All right, next stop, North Korea. The only country today that is still purely communist, North Korea accepts tourists from other nations other than South Korea and the United States. Tourists are assigned personal escorts called minders. So if you decided that you wanted to travel and visit North Korea, you are going to have a personal escort. These escorts will accompany tourists from the day they come into the day they fly out to ensure they are not breaking any rules such as speaking against North Korean government. Everything is controlled by the administration from TV, radio, and print. Contents for news and broadcast are censored. So there are no cussing. There's no cussing happening on TV. Internet access is only granted, to the ruling elite, and even their online activities are strictly monitored. So elites are the rich, the wealthier people in the country have access to internet, but it is monitored very strictly. As for North Koreans, their movements are very limited. They are not allowed to loiter in parks, and all their movements and activities must be supported by a valid reason. Sexual relationships between non married couples are prohibited. So if you're not married, none of that funny business is going on. The government's dating police are tasked to ensure no such relationships occur. North Korea also has a strict fashion code. For example, women are not allowed to wear pants, and men should not cut their hair men should cut their hair, every 15 days. So they're very strict. North Korea is actually where we are reading our that's not where we're okay. Our story that we're reading actually takes place in North Korea. So this gives us some more understanding and a better aspect of what it's like to live there as we're reading about Cheng Bo and the issue where he got in trouble in the story. All right, moving along. Uzbekistan, which is in Central Asia. Uzbekistan, I hope I'm saying it right. Uzbekistan's government has suppressed all political opposition. So, suppress means keeps it down or keeps it away. All political opposition. So, if I am a president, I have made sure that nobody else is going to come against me. There's no political debates, there's no voting, there's no coups, there's nothing that's going to keep me from doing what I want to do. Activists and journalists in the country face political violence, prosecution, fines, and arbitrary detention. There are also no free elections, as I stated. So, let's say if this was America and we operated in this style, Trump would not be. No one would be able to get Trump off his seat. There's no free elections. There's no one that's going to be able to go against him. He's going to sit tight right there with a smile on his face. Free speech is severely restricted to the point that recording artists must obtain special licenses from the government to perform in public. So if Beyonce lived in Uzbekistan, she would have to ask permission to perform. a lot of the things that she performs to get permission. Forced labor is also a serious problem. The U.S. State Department found in 2014 that Uzbekistan remains one of only a handful of governments around the world that subjects its citizens to forced labor through implementation of state policy. So they could force you to work, or they could force you to work in environments that may not be healthy for you. They could force you to work in places that could be dangerous for you. So they are forcing people into work. All right, last stop on this trip, we are going to Belarus, which is right in between Poland and Russia. Belarus president, I'm just going to call him Ali, heads an authoritarian regime notorious for crushing any and all forms of political assent. So this one is similar to Uzbekistan. There is no one that's going to really come up against them, their leadership. So term limits don't exist. So how in America, presidents can only serve 2 terms. Well, terms don't exist here. I can rule for as long as I want, and key opposition figures are often prevented from running for office. So again, just like Uzbekistan, no one's going to run against me. I'm going to be in this seat until I die. Almost how it was way back when there were kings and queens in England and France. They basically would run until they died. As a result, opposition parties have no representation in Belarusian National Assembly. Belarusian national television is controlled by the government, and dissenting views are not presented. As more and more Belarusians gain access to the internet, the government is trying to expand its control to the web. Social networking sites are blocked, and online opposition activists are regularly harassed and threatened. So they're getting internet access out there and they're trying to figure out how to control it. You cannot go to Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat in Belarus because they have blocked it. So each of these countries, Belarus, Uzbekistan, North Korea, Equatorial Guinea, and Singapore, all have strategies to controlling their citizens and controlling their country to make sure that they have the type of government and policies and everything that they want to work to be functional, how they want their economy to be. But it's all about controlling the citizens. America is not like that. We're allowed to be free. So, does freedom allow us to create poverty? If I choose not to work, if I choose to have a lot of children, if I choose to sleep with someone and not be married, if I choose to smoke, if I choose to do drugs, America gives you free choice. Especially in some cases, if you don't get caught, you can get away with doing a lot of things. But does it come at a cost? So I want you to think, how can controlling citizens have negative effects on a country? There are some positives, which we saw with the one-child policy, but let's focus on the negatives with these 5 countries. Again, this is a video, so go back, pause, add your notes. What are some things that you noticed about each country? And then finish up with your thoughts. I can't wait for us to really dig in and talk about this on Friday. You guys are great, and I will see you guys tomorrow.